Hey, welcome back to the Filmmaker's Formula. I'm Kevin, and today I'm going to show you how you can replicate the studio lighting that you will normally get from an Aputure 120D for under $20. The Aputure 120D is the go-to light for most photographers, videographers, and YouTubers in the filmmaking space. Peter McKinnon, Matty Hapoya, YCImaging, Armando, the list kind of just goes on and on. There's a reason they all choose to use this light, because it's really powerful. It's also so portable that you can take it with you on your travels. It weighs more or less than a MacBook Pro. It's also incredibly bright, so bright that you can replicate the sun. However, though, the Aputure Lightstorm C120D2 is quite expensive. It goes for $745, but that's not all. There's also a bunch of modifiers you can get. And what a lighting modifier is just a way to shape your light. The Light Dome 2 is a popular choice among filmmakers because it helps shape hard light into soft light. And that's also the key of today's experiment. That light dome will also run you another $200. So with tax, we're at around $1,000. But do we really need all that to get that nice light that you would normally get from an Aputure 120D in our videos? Before we try to replicate the light that comes out the 120D, we need to understand the difference between hard and soft light. The hardness and softness of lights comes down to two factors: the size of your light source relative to your subject and the distance. An example of a hard light would be the sun, because it's so far away and it creates hard shadows with defined edges. Soft light wraps around your subject and creates these soft edges, kind of like when the sun is being blocked by the clouds, because the clouds is a giant softbox. So if we go off that theory, we would need a light source larger than our subject to replicate the light that comes out of Aputure 120D with a 35-inch light dome on top of it. To keep this as cheap as possible, you would need to take stock of your existing light sources. I have this lamp from Target or IKEA that most of you probably have. Then we have this ring light, which is what all the beauty gurus on YouTube use. But I just really can't stand that ring of light in my glasses or my eyes because it kind of just looks like I'm always filming a music video. Of course, we won't be able to replicate the advantages of having a 120D, such as the dimming or the built-in effects, but we just might be able to replicate the results. The most important thing for this experiment is this 32-inch flash softbox used in photography. I think it goes for like $20 or $30 depending on what size you get. This not only comes with a reflective inside, it also comes in the shape of a dome and a diffusion sheet, which is perfect for what we need it for. It also doubles as an umbrella if you ever get caught in the rain. Now think about it, we could technically use an umbrella for this. Let's try that out later. Because this thing isn't meant to be attached to any lights, we have this metal rod coming out the middle, which can get in the way. And that's why we have duct tape to secure our umbrella to anything we want. Moving on. So the first light I want to try out is this ring light. You know, the good thing about this ring light is that it does have a dimmer switch at the bottom, so you can change the brightness of the light. Also, we have this hole in the middle where we can stick the rod in. It's probably not going to be as secure, but we could always just tape the whole thing to the light stand. And all we really have to do from there is to stick the diffusion sheet on top and we're done. The angle for this thing isn't really adjustable, but we could always just add more tape. So here's what it looks like with no softbox, and I feel like I need to show some beauty products. Here's my eyeliner, and this is with the softbox. As you can see, we still get a subtle ring of light, but it's much better with the diffusion on top. Next, I wanted to try out this lamp. My immediate concern is that it's not going to be bright enough, but we'll just have to make do. If it's not bright enough, we can always just shove 3 of the lamp heads in the softbox. And I kind of just pointed the lamps in the direction of my face. A good thing about this lamp is that it has adjustable angles. I have to say this is probably the easiest adjustable light I've ever had. All these other lights take forever to adjust. So here's what it looks like without the softbox, and here's what it looks like with the softbox. Because I wanted to see what results we would get, I decided to try this out with an actual umbrella. So I got this umbrella here. It's kind of big, but that's all I have. We immediately run into the same problem we had with the softbox, having this handle stick out in the middle, but for the umbrella, it's way longer than the metal rod in the softbox. To make things simpler, I'm just going to go with the ring light because it already has a hole in the middle, and also we need it to be brighter because our makeshift softbox is way too big. But to be honest, if you don't have a ring light, any light that's bright enough will do. To ensure we have as much reflection going on the inside of the softbox as possible, I've decided to line the inside with aluminum foil. For the diffusion sheet, I didn't really have a shower curtain laying around, but that's something you could use. But what I did have was this white bed sheet, which we'll have to do. It's kind of all about just using what you have. Probably the hardest thing about this setup is to angle the whole light. To keep this thing from constantly falling over, I kind of just wedged it against some furniture and added a water bottle as a counterweight. Then I draped the bed sheet over the whole thing, and that was it. Because this thing became a giant light source, the light we got out of it was actually pretty good, other than the obvious of it being not portable. Side note, I realized they make different shape umbrellas, and my umbrella was way too shallow. You could buy one of the rounder ones, but for about the same price of an umbrella, you could buy a softbox umbrella. So there's that. What do you think? Let me know in the comment section below. But I think we just hacked ourselves a zero-budget Aputure 120D. Be sure to check out the FAPuture 120D made by YCImaging. I think it was pretty good, but just not waterproof like ours is, because ours is an umbrella. If you're new to this channel is all about shortcuts to creative filmmaking, from effects to builds like these. So subscribe if you haven't already. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section below, and I'll do my best to answer them. And I hope to see you in the next video.